and JV here. Just wanted to preface this episode with it's going to be a two-parter. We sat down with the intention of recording for like 45 minutes, an hour. And how
It's
long has
been
it
2
been,
hours,
JV?
14 minutes, and 5 seconds.
So we're gonna break this up. We're gonna be releasing episode 1. We're gonna call this the Screen Break
Yep.
series, where it's literally just us sitting down talking. We have no direction, we have no agenda. We're just having fun. So episode 1 will be up on the 4th of June. Episode 2 will be up
Yep.
on the 11th. And yeah, I hope that you guys enjoy it
It
because
was a
it was a
wild
wild
ride. We
ride.
promise we're going to have some actual guests on again, and we'll be talking about less nonsense.
Less
More
nonsense, more
books.
books.
More books.
Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of Little Prince. In today's episode, we're just chilling. We're just two girls who have come together to chat.
We're
So
hanging
I
out.
hope you enjoy that.
Yep.
My son is napping. JV's
Mine
son
is
is
not.
sitting with her.
He's
Yeah,
over there.
he's over there. This can end at any moment, but we we thought we missed each other, so let's get on camera and record something for you guys. But before we get into our episode, we would like to give a shout out to Ghost Energy, who is not a sponsor,
Yet.
but we will be drinking it anyways. And I got excited because I thought yours was the same as mine, but it's
No.
just the same color.
It's similar.
Which one do you have today?
Peaches.
Woo! I have orange cream.
I like orange cream. But we were talking about peaches last week. We were
Yes.
talking about that being your favorite artificial candy flavor.
Yes.
And my husband was so sweet. He bought like pallets of Ghost. And it's that electric limeade and then peaches. They're our two favorite flavors. So
Oh, interesting. We have such a limited supply of Ghost. I think there's like 4 or 5 flavors that we have here, at least like in Calgary, which is where I got them.
yeah,
But I think that this probably is like among my favorites just because it's not
good.
so sour. Like Warheads, it's not needed. It's so sour.
I have feelings about, and I think you and we chatted about this before, right? I mean, I'm big into fitness, and so there are a lot of fitness supplements, pre-workouts and creatine and protein and da 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 da. And it's the same with energy drinks. I personally cannot wrap my head around why they have to make everything candy flavored. When I think fitness
Yeah.
industry, I think bodybuilders, these big ripped dudes. And it's like, what? You can't handle something that tastes like an apple. It has to taste like cookies and cream or Oreo or
Yeah.
Skittles. Like, why? Why does everything have to be candy flavored? Can't we do like, oh, this tastes like strawberry? Great.
Yep.
I'm good with that. That's good.
Yep.
Like let's not make something taste like Frosted Flakes.
And they never do it right. Like I think that there is like Ghost I think does supplements in a like they do it well. Like you have a Chips Ahoy protein and you're like kind of tastes like Chips Ahoy. But the one thing that
No.
I hate about protein and like protein snacks specifically, like protein bars,
Yeah.
is like why I know that I'm eating this because I want to make a healthy decision.
Yeah.
I want to up my protein. Why does it need to be chocolate cake?
Yeah.
Like I know like I'm not gonna enjoy it more because you tell me what it's gonna taste like because it's gonna taste like chalk. Listen,
gonna
we're
be
both not
awful.
having a good time. Yeah.
That always reminds me of those videos where like people are on a diet, right? And so they smell a cookie and then take a bite out of a celery stick. It's
Yeah.
like that. It's like, okay, we're just gonna try and trick you into thinking that
Mhm.
this tastes good, except like the moment it hits your tongue, it's like, well,
And it doesn't taste good. So like let's just normalize. You have to have something kind of gross to have good like something that's good for you.
but
You know?
also, why does healthy have to be so expensive? And two, why does so much of it have to taste like crap? I don't think it's I don't think that's
It's
necessary.
I don't understand. It's like a psychological thing. Like, oh,
Yeah.
you want to have this protein bar? Guess what? It's double chocolate stacker fudge cake. Why? Like, like it's so strange. It's like if I want to have that, I'm just gonna have that. And then like just make protein chocolate, strawberry, or vanilla. I'm happy
I
with those 3 things.
I agree.
Or
I
flavorless.
or flavorless. Yeah. just let it be flavorless. I like most flavorless things. I do have a protein powder that I use that I've used for years because it's like it actually tastes like chocolate. And so for
Whoa.
protein, I'm okay with it having like the cookies and cream and stuff. For me, it's like the energy drinks. Like I don't want my energy drink to taste like Rocket Pops or something. I
Yeah,
want to
what
make it
even
fruity
is
flavor.
that?
I don't know. It's like an ice cream or something, but I'm like, I drink these things also for refreshment. And when it tastes
Uh-huh.
like it's not refreshing to me if it tastes like cookies. But for protein
Ew.
powder,
An energy drink that tastes like cookies? That'd be so
I don't
gross.
know if they have that actually, but they make them taste like
Bubbly cookies? Blech.
that they make them taste like I don't know what's like a weird one like the Swedish fish. Like, is that necessary? Swedish fish already don't taste good.
Yeah, exactly.
I
I
don't
was
need them
gonna
in
say
drink
that.
form. Thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why are we here? And I get that you're trying to hit. I think that the target demographic, and this is just my perspective, is young, right? So we're trying to get the kids drinking energy drinks
But are you?
younger, kind of like vapes, right? It's all flavored, targeted for because our generation will die off, and then they need the next generation to pick up and still eat and drink that shit.
True. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't understand.
I don't understand either, and it's funny because I used to be very much in the fitness world, and I always gravitated to just like a chocolate or a vanilla protein. And
Yeah.
while Oreo sounds good, you're giving me a container that's bigger than my head, and that's all of the option I have when I get home. With vanilla and chocolate and all this stuff, you can mix stuff in and
Yes.
make it your own creation. Whereas if it's just Oreo, you're like, well, I guess I have 2 months of Oreo proteins in my future.
Yeah, you're limited. Yeah.
And that's boring.
I agree. I like so I use a chocolate protein every day and it's nice because when I'm not cutting, for example, I usually mix it with some oats and banana and peanut butter and that tastes like sin. It's like an ice cream
Mm-hmm.
sundae. But then I also have a protein powder that's a like a pumpkin spice and I actually use that to make waffles like in the fall.
Oh, that's smart.
But it's very
Pumpkin
much
spice would be good in like a latte too. Like
yeah,
I've seen a lot of protein coffees, proffies is
yes.
what they're called apparently.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I think we were just gonna chat today. We did send out like on our personal Instagrams like ask us anything type
yeah.
things. Did you get any submissions?
I got quite a few. So, I mean,
Nice.
I asked a really strange one, which was if you could, what was it? If you could torment somebody for the rest of their lives with a minor inconvenience, what
Oh,
would it
I love
be?
that one. I was just like,
And there was so many good ones. We can go through a couple of them. I wasn't prepared at all. So you did one as well. What was your prompt?
I honestly just said ask me anything. So I got like the
Oh,
most random questions.
did you like my response?
I did, and I responded on my Instagram. Remember, I was like, I don't have to think about that. So you asked me how many strawberries I can fit in my mouth. And I think that's because I posted a picture of like a basket full of freshly picked strawberries.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would very much depend like on the size of the strawberry. I think if it's like Mama Jammas, like big ones, I could probably fit three. Medium one,
Whoa.
I think I've never tried it, but now maybe on our next episode I'll have to see how many strawberries I
On
can
our
fit
next
in my mouth.
episode, it'll be mumbles and us having handfuls of strawberries in our mouths. Are you guys excited?
So excited we're doing this. This is gonna be a thing.
No. I'm not doing this. I have a comically small mouth. I'm gonna get like one big strawberry and be like, tap that down.
It's a competition.
Everything's a competition. Let's be serious.
See, I agree. My husband's like, it's not a competition. I'm like, all I heard was competition. I heard nothing.
All I heard was ready, set, go, you lose.
I'm like, I make everything a competition, which is horrible because, like, I set myself up for disappointment, but I can't help it.
You're like, I'm probably gonna lose this one, but challenge accepted.
I mean, like,
I'm literally almost crying. We've been laughing so much. Oh my gosh.
okay. Um, Okay, so what would you choose, Ty, if you had to pick
The most
something to torment? Because I can think of so many things.
I think I think my number one thing would be, because this ties in with like the world that we live in now, is you have to log into every subscription you go to use every time.
Every time.
You have to put in your username and password every time you go to log in.
Oh, that would be horrible. That would
Yeah,
be
it's such a
really
piss
horrible.
off.
You know what? That's devious. I didn't even think about that one, but that is definitely
With all the subscription services we have, like every time you log on to Instagram, every time you go to Threads, anytime you go to TikTok, Netflix,
and it couldn't be
Disney
one of
Plus.
those like autofills, right? Where it
Nope, you have to
nope, you have to
manually put
type
it
it
in.
every single time, your email and or your username and your password.
And your passwords expire at different times, so all the passwords are different.
And they cannot repeat ever across any
Mhm.
platform because there's some big central database. Oh,
Oh God, that sucks. I would never use anything. I literally got a new phone, and I have my RBC bank. And for some reason, my login isn't working, so it's just not on my phone anymore.
oh
Like, I
no.
guess I just don't know what's going on
You have
there,
to
and
reset
I
every
probably
time.
won't for forever.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or having to reset your password every single time you try to log into the application.
Oh my God. And you know how fast you would run out of password options? There's an application in AHS that minimum character requirements is 15.
You know, I hate those. Like I get that like special character and a capital letter and but when they're like, okay, but yeah, minimum of 15 letters, I'm like I oh, and you
Yeah.
can't repeat one that you've used previously.
Yep.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not that creative. And it can't be
I'm
one,
like,
two, three,
just
four,
write a
five.
sentence. Why am I using a sentence for a freaking password? Are you joking?
I know. Oh God. And you know what? Like I get the point of it, but two-factor authentication when I'm trying to log into my email for work, and then it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, and now like use your authenticator app on your phone. And I'm like, and then sometimes like not working right now.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The only reason it's funny because I was talking to we had an outage this week for multi-factor authentication where it just wasn't working at all. Like you couldn't just log into anything external, and it was on Microsoft's side of things because it always is, right?
Always.
And I was talking to the service owner and I was like, you know, the only reason we have multi-factor authentication is because people aren't smart enough to not click on things that are spam. That's the only reason that we have multi-factor authentication, because the human race has fallen too many times and been, hacked or whatever too many times that they're like, now you have to double authenticate,
Yep.
which is infuriating.
At work, we have this thing where once in a while our IT department will purposely send phishing emails like a
Yep,
text,
same.
and then you have to report them. And if you don't report them, you have to like pass some kind of
Do a class.
a class
Yeah,
afterwards. And I'm like, nope, I don't know who the sender is. Nope, this looks. I mean, I click on
everything is
phishing
spam.
emails as like I'm like my secretary would email me, and I'm like phishing. Not really, but I'm like, nope, that doesn't sound familiar. They're reporting this.
Oh my God. I've done that so many times. HR will like email me and I'm like fishing and they're like, no, they really do want to talk to you. And I'm like, I was just being cautious. Oh my goodness.
I love. Hey, you know what? Better safe than sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I can't recall why HR would want to talk to me, but spam.
Definitely. I don't know what they'd want
Yeah.
to talk to me about. That's great.
What would be your minor inconvenience you would wish on somebody?
I think I responded to you twice on that
You
because
did.
I don't remember what my second one was. I think the first one was like not having a tissue anywhere close to you when your nose is like running like a faucet. You know, just that feeling of
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ew.
And you're like
Oh my God.
it's just something like that. And then what was my second response? I don't even remember. There's so many small. Oh,
Habit
you're
fair.
out and about and you're running low on gas and you realize you forgot your wallet. Like you have no,
Yes.
and so you
Yeah.
have to drive with that fear of is my car gonna stall out? Because I do that all the time. And then I have to call Thanos. I'm like, babe, I forgot my debit card. Are you anywhere near?
Yes, those are the two that you gave me, and those were literally so good. I only have like I think one or two more. Just Write One, which is oh gosh, what is his name? I just Kenneth J. Hunter.
Yeah.
He's an author. He said I would curse them with hiccups.
Oh, yeah.
That's devious. I don't know anybody personally, but I've heard of cases where people get hiccups for like years
Oh.
and they go insane.
Well, yeah. That would make, ugh.
I
Or
would lose my mind.
your your bed is never cool enough when you're trying to sleep. It's perpetually too warm.
Oh, that's a tough one. Yeah, I wouldn't like that.
No, me neither. Because my house has
I
to
have
be
one
Arctic.
more from Nicole Books _ a tiny piece of gravel in every sock or shoe they ever put on.
Oh, that's mean.
Yeah. I get that in my shoe and like, listen, I don't have time to take it out, so I just like wiggle my foot around until the rock is in a more comfortable position
Yes,
and I deal
same,
with it later.
same. Oh, that's a good one. I like that question.
Yeah.
Not really bookish related, but
You
good.
know what? Today's not bookish related. We're just
We're just
chit-chatting
chatting.
girlies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
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 It just goes back and forth.
Okay. So I asked you how many strawberries you could fit in your mouth, which was a great question, I think. What other questions did you get?
I got a couple bookish related ones. One
Uh-huh.
was submitted by Carol, who is also an author. And she basically said, your books are chonky. I don't know what she's talking about. um,
No clue.
she basically wanted to know how fast I write. So, um,
Ooh.
because I'm releasing book number 3 here in the fall.
Mhm.
And I released book number 1 last fall, so I will have released 3-ish books in roughly a 13-month span. And
That
they're
is
all over
bonkers
500 pages.
bananas.
Yeah, and I think people need to know that I didn't start writing these books like yesterday or even last year. I didn't start writing book 3 after I published book 2. I have been writing these books for years. I actually started writing book 3 in the summer of 2022 when my husband and I were in Ireland together. So I've been working on these things for a long, long, long time. So even though they're
Mhm.
chunky and I'm releasing them rather quickly, it's not, I didn't just start them. Book number 1, I was writing for like 10 years or something. So
Wow.
yeah, because break and babies and it never meant to publish. I was just writing for myself, so no deadline. So when she asked, how quickly do you write? What's your daily word count, basically? I sometimes it's 0. I
Mhm.
think the most I've ever written was roughly 10 to 11,000 words in a day, which
Wow.
I don't know how many pages that comes out to. Probably about 10-ish. I don't know.
Really? You think that's only 10 pages? That's nuts. I'm gonna Google it
So,
because 10,000 words equals
yeah.
how many pages? You're asking the number of pages, 10,000 word document. You're looking at if it's single spaced, 20 pages. If it's double spaced, 40 pages.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's probably about the most I've ever written. Like that's when I
for like a
have.
chapter, depending on how big your chapters are. But yeah.
Yeah, probably
Well, that's
something like
actually a
that.
really big chapter. Never mind. I take back everything I said.
Well, my chapters sometimes can be really long. But it was
Mhm.
probably several chapters, but that's when something like really wants out of my head.
Mhm.
But I think if I had to average it a day with like everything else that I do, probably 1,000 to 2,000 words a day. But yeah, I mean, an author is like, oh, you can totally be disciplined and sit down and you can hammer out, whatever, a thousand words an hour or something like that. I don't know. I'm not good with the math, but for me, it's like I'm such a pantser, and then I go back and I rethink my
Mhm.
thought, and sometimes I'll write something, and then 1,000 words later, I'm like, I don't like it, so I just delete the whole thing. I don't know.
That's bonkers. I would be like, there has to be something here I need to salvage. Like writing an email and then accidentally deleting it is probably one of the worst things
Yeah.
in my job.
Yeah. Well, I don't actually accidentally delete. I delete on purpose because I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what? Actually, I'm not feeling this. And sometimes, and then I have a whole separate document that's just excerpts. So for book
Hmm.
3, because I started writing it 3 years ago, I published book 2, and then I went back to my manuscript of book 1, which was probably about 80 to 85% done already before I even picked it back up.
Yeah.
So I went through and decided, I'm going to take some of this out. I don't like it anymore. We had to rewrite a bunch of stuff. And then I just have a big old document with excerpts with things that I've deleted that I just moved into a separate document in case I want to
Oh,
reuse it
smart. So you
somewhere
have
else.
like an archive.
I have it
Yeah.
there for whatever reason.
Maybe it'll work later on in the book, right? It's good that you're not completely deleting that because I'm not a writer, right? But I could only imagine that, like, I get an idea. Like, for instance, the beginning of this podcast, I had a point I was going to make and then I lost it, right? So, like,
Yeah.
to completely, like, that would be in the back of my head that, like, oh, I had something good and then, like, it was written well, but it
Yeah.
didn't work here, but maybe it'll work here. And then you got to, like, rethink it. And sometimes the first, like, written down version is the best.
Yeah.
And you try to recreate it and you really just can't get to that headspace again. Which is funny, I'm saying that as somebody who literally has never written anything in her life, but I feel like that's how I would feel.
It's exactly like that. Oh God, I've had it before where, so about a year ago, was it about a year ago? Maybe less. So I have and this goes to, backing up your work and stuff, but I have all
Mhm.
my work on a USB drive. It's like my most cherished prized possession. And I try to be good about backing it up, putting it on, an external hard drive and stuff, but sometimes I just can't, I don't get around to it.
Yeah.
And my USB drive broke, like busted, like the front part broke off. I couldn't.
Oh
I
no.
all of my books, all of them, the previously published ones, the current WIP, and I have like 5 other books going at the same time. All of my work was on that USB drive, and I'm like, holy shit, I lost it, and I had to like hire and my son needs to go pee. Give me a second.
Okay. While we are sitting here waiting for JV to return, I would like to ask you guys to hit the like button. And if you would feel so inclined, to hit the subscribe button. Um, yeah, because it really helps us out. And I thought I'd take this opportunity of kind of dead air to put that out there. Also, you can follow us on our socials. We are Little Prince Podcast everywhere on Instagram. JV has returned on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, and on Spotify. And I am currently working on getting all of our podcasts up on Apple Music. I need somebody who has an Apple thing to create an Apple ID for us because it won't work on the browser for some reason. But I'm working on it. JV is back. Hello, JV.
Back. Sorry about that. That boy really had to
All
pee.
good.
Oh my God. I'm like, where are you storing all of this? He's like, I drank a lot of Capri Sun. I'm like, I can tell. So where were we? I forgot.
Talking about the flash drive, you had to hire somebody.
Oh, yes. I found someone in Arizona and I was like, are you able to fix my hard drive? I need these documents. And I mean, I dumped a ton of money into it, but he like expedited service and everything and got my documents off the broken hard drive onto a new hard drive, shipped it to me. And once in a while, I'm just like, where did I put my flash drive? It's not the hard drive, it's the
Yeah.
flash drive. I don't know. I'm like, That's so bad.
So do you have all of your documents on a cloud, or are you just in case something happens to this hard drive? Or what I would recommend as an IT person is to literally have a backup of your backup, because even cloud isn't super reliable,
Yep.
because if something happens and all that information goes missing, guess what?
Yep.
Cloud has servers, cloud has storage, but getting that stuff back could be quite difficult.
I do. I know, buddy. I'll come fix it right now, okay? Go sit on the other side. The cord is fine. It'll reach. um, oh, good times. Well, I mean, we told you this was what it's gonna be like. Um,
100%.
so I have it. I have my stuff back up on like Dropbox, and then I also have an external hard drive. And I should probably back up today because actually I just I typed the end on book 3 yesterday.
Ooh. So I don't know if you can answer this, but is this a full conclusion of the series, or are we getting book 4?
I typed the end for now. I
Ah,
have material for a 4th book. I always knew it was going to definitely be a 3-book series, but I think I'm going to take a little break from Ronan and
mhm.
Kat. I want to finish or focus on my other whips that are screaming at me to get them out of my head, and then I might come back to them and give them a 4th book, but it's not going to be
Okay.
as quickly as books 1, 2, and 3 were published.
Okay, so if you've got other WIPs, which if you don't know what that means,
Oh,
JV's dad, that's work in progress.
Papa, work in progress.
I guess shout out to JV's dad,
My
Papa.
dad. Papa.
Yes.
Oh, hold on. My kid's yelling again. Plug
Okay.
the socials again.
I'm gonna. She wants me to plug the socials again. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna get you guys to listen to that again. But I will put a prompt, I guess, out there. Oh, Jamie's back.
Literally just right there, but this is parenthood. This is real life, people.
Guys, I literally hold on. I'll show you my son. This is two moms making time to do podcasts. Okay, for those of you who are on audio, I'm holding up the baby monitor of my son sleeping in his crib.
He looks
He's
comfy.
out.
He out.
He's so funny. He loves his blanket. And I know that everyone says your child shouldn't sleep with a blanket. He has slept with a blanket since the day he was born,
Yeah.
pretty much. Like small blankets, and now they're like full-size blankets. And they're not blankets. They're like, if you guys have like a TJ Maxx or a Home Sense or whatever, they're like the thinner type of blankets. But this kid, you should see, if you hand him a blanket, the joy, just like the pure joy. He like grabs it and he like snuggles it, and he is so happy in that moment. And I'll never take that away from him.
No, you know what? I mean, there's a lot of advice out there. And
Yes.
for people who are, new to parenthood, you take what you need. You take what you need.
Mm-hmm.
You take what works for your family. All of my kids, we co-slept with. All of them. All of them. With baby number 1, with my oldest, we still did the thing like I had a bassinet next to the bed and back is best and all of that stuff. Totally get it. But I had C-sections for all my kids. So I was like, I can't get up and out and walk around all this time.
Yeah.
So she ended up in like a little bassinet in between us. That was like a mesh kind of basket. And that worked. But babies 2 and 3, immediately in bed with me. Slept right next to me this whole time, which is it's
Yeah.
good and bad. It's good because breastfeeding was so much easier and all of the other things. And I'm not on drugs. I don't have a healthcare concern. I'm not an
Mm-hmm.
alcoholic. Like I'm a light sleeper. I felt my baby shift and move and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
There was no way that I would have rolled onto my kid. And the only bad thing is that my son, who's 5.5, still sleeps in bed with us.
I think, yeah, I have Devin's sister. She has the same thing. Her 5-year-old still sleeps in the bed. And like it wasn't our intention for Daniel to crib sleep.
Yeah.
It was just grandma was over and she's like, I'm gonna put Daniel in the crib and see what happens. And he slept the whole night, and he just has forever slept in his
Yeah.
crib since then.
Perfect.
And like, but when he was born, like I was up, I slept sitting up
Yeah.
with him in my
Yeah.
arms. Like I would have that like baby whatchamacalls it, that like
That
round
that
thing,
pillow
like a
thing.
feeding pillow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he would be in it, and I literally would sit up in bed and hold him, and like I would doze off. But you know, is it the safest thing? No. And I think it's important to know the risks.
Yes.
Like, do what's good for you and shut out everything
Yeah.
else, but make sure you know the risks of what you're doing, because while mine was polar opposite to what everybody else says, I was very attentive
Yes.
with him and his blankets. Like if he had anything covering his face, I got up
Yeah.
and for the first little bit as a first time mom, you check that monitor
Oh,
like every 30
all
minutes.
the
You don't
time.
sleep.
You're always there
So like
checking.
I knew,
Still breathing?
yeah,
Yeah. All
you
the
turn
time.
it on and you look and you're like, is their chest moving? And then,
Yeah.
you know, he's 14 months today, actually. So like he's been around it, he's had it, that I feel he's fine.
Yeah.
Like he's sleeping on top of it because it's hot right now, but even if he's wrapped up in it and I can't really see him, I know he's fine.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and
yeah.
at 14
Take
months,
everything with motherhood with a grain of salt, because
everything.
there's so much out there. Even family giving you advice. What works for them might not work for you. And that is
Exactly.
totally okay.
That is exactly it. Like, look, ultimately, it's your little family unit that has to survive, that has to make it through this.
Uh-huh.
And you know what? Like, I am very much a proponent of do what you need to do to get some sleep, because I think a lot of the times it's more dangerous if you're sleep deprived
Yeah.
and having to drive or care for your child than both of you getting solid sleep at night and like being able to
Uh-huh.
function properly. So there is this give and take, this push and pull. And my mom actually gave me really good advice. She's like, even when you go to your pediatrician, she's like, the pediatrician is going to tell you all the things that are the standards and that the books say and blah blah blah, and you'll nod and you'll say yes.
Yep.
And then you go home and you do what works for your family. Some of the stuff will work for you guys, other stuff won't, like the
Yeah.
feeding and there's the push like, oh, breast is best, but it's like not every child is going to latch. My first one never latched, so it was like we had to supplement
Uh-huh.
with formula. And it's like there's so much out there that already sets new moms up for failure, and it makes you feel like absolute effing shit when things aren't
Yep.
like come like naturally, because it's actually
Uh-huh.
none of this feels normal, especially the way our society works now. Like we don't have a village anymore, right? We're sleep deprived. We're supposed to bounce back and function and make gluten-free cookies while we're at it, and all of and, like it just
Yeah.
doesn't work. So you do what works for you.
100%. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
I think that there's too much going on in your brain,
Yeah.
and everyone's like, sleep when the baby sleeps. And it's like, okay, except I also have to clean the house.
I also
You
have
know,
to do
like,
other things. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But you know, it is what it is. We made it to the other side. I mean,
Yeah.
he's 14 months, which is, I don't even
Crazy.
understand how he's 14 months. But okay, let's talk about the prompts. So you got a prompt for, or you asked a prompt for Ask Me Anything, and I also did it as well.
Yeah.
And I think I got a couple. Let me just, I screenshotted them because it was easier for me. So I have two, which is fun. The Happy Little Book Club asked, what's my favorite place to sit and read?
Oh,
And I have a favorite place, actually.
your bed.
It's, if you guys follow me on Instagram, anytime that I'm recording and I have that funky 80s pillow, it's because I'm in bed.
Such a good place to read.
Yeah, it's honestly, I have, I'll show you guys. Well, actually, I won't show you guys because if you're not watching it, you can't. Okay, fine, I'll show you guys.
We'll just have to make it accessible. We have to describe it for our hard
Okay.
of seeing or those individuals only on audio. What are you showing us, Ty?
You're gonna describe it then,
Okay, I will
'cause I think
try.
that'd be fun. Okay, so
She's holding up a
this
9-inch dildo. I'm so
first of all,
inappropriate.
9 inches.
Nine
Where's
inch.
that going?
I don't know. That's what I see in books.
You know what's so funny is dramatically for those of you who are not watching this. As she said that, I was slowly lifting the object in the air, and it fit perfectly. All right, let's try this again.
Okay, so you're holding up in like this pinkish, it looks like a pillow that kind of is like the back of an armchair. So it's got little armrests and a backrest, looks very comfy, has like a smiley face. Oh, and it's got pockets on the sides for like your Kindle or your phone or your drink or your snacky snack. So there's rainbows and a cherry and a hearts and little lightning bolts, and that's really cute. So where do you set that up on your bed?
Yeah, so it's a reading pillow.
Nice.
And it's actually meant for children.
Oh,
But I saw it and I was like, this is screaming me because I am anything 80s, 90s inspired.
yeah.
So yeah, I set it up behind me and then I have my pillow in front of it. And then I just like throw my blankets on. I've got a little bedside table
Yeah.
that my snacks and my drinks go on. And then I have a fan that has literally perpetually been on since we moved in because I don't turn anything off, especially that fan. And then there's like a nice cool breeze.
Yes, meet the breeze. I agree.
And that is my happy place. And then a lot of the times I will have headphones on. There's nothing on them. Sometimes there's pink noise because I do read really well with pink
What's
noise.
pink noise as
Or
opposed to like white noise
pink
or
noise is like, but it's not white noise. It's like a different frequency.
huh?
I don't know really how to explain it. Or one thing that I've really come to love is just background chatter.
Yeah.
Like if you're sitting in a pub or like a coffee shop and like 17 conversations are going on at the same time and you can't really decipher any of
This
them
is like this
and there's like
hum.
clanging of dishes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I can read really well to that. Um, yeah, and then it's sometimes there's nothing on and it's just to cancel out the outside noise. I can still hear things, but it's just I don't know, it's putting me in this like isolation bubble when I have my headphones on. So that is my favorite place to read. I have tried to read like sitting on the couch and I can. It's just it's not as like once I get it's like my brain knows we're shutting down. We're getting into your happy place. We're gonna open up a book. This is going to be fun.
We're eating
You know,
frozen
like you're
chocolate.
I recorded a video. I haven't uploaded it yet, but I've upped my Frozen game. Do you have a Dollarama?
We have like dollar stores, yeah.
Okay, so Dollarama specifically has a chocolate bar called the Duet. It's like a mock Twix. I prefer dollar store chocolates
Thought
because they're not as sweet.
really because they
Um,
can't afford the sugar.
yeah, and it's my favorite. It is my favorite chocolate bar.
Okay.
Frozen.
You know what?
It
I
hits all the
did
buttons.
did see that on one of your stories where you had the duet, and I was like, "Holy shit, that looks suspiciously like a Twix." I don't know if I can get that
Mhm.
here. Yeah, so
Um,
I want to try that. If I tried a Twix, it would same
okay, so honestly, same, right? Like it's
caramel.
just
It freezes.
it
It
doesn't. And that's
doesn't?
why it hits all of the boxes.
Oh.
Because it's like chocolatey, crunchy, the caramel. I mean, okay, so the caramel does freeze, but it melts ridiculously fast.
Ah.
So pretty much it's just like you have cold chocolate. Why are we getting in depth on this on the podcast? I have no idea. Cold chocolate, cookie, and caramel, and it I don't know, it's so satisfying.
I'm gonna try it.
Enough about me and my friggin' chocolate excursions. Um, what is another prompt that you got that maybe isn't bookish related? Let's go out of the bookish realm. Let's do something more personal.
Okay. I got a prompt and I took a screenshot as well because I am like you and I can never remember. Um, I got a couple few, a couple few.
Couple few.
I got some good ones, but one was basically a person just commenting that they wanted to know more about me teaching law school because last weekend, I'd love to know the story behind your teaching law. That little story didn't go unnoticed on grad day. So I posted last weekend on my stories a little picture of me in the professor graduation gown attire.
Mm-hmm. Your makeup and hair looked flawless. You looked so
I
pretty.
did nothing. I did nothing. I look like this. I do
Really?
put my mascara on. Yeah, I don't ever
Okay, well, you're blessed by the gods because you look stunning. You look stunning all the time, but I was just like,
think you.
she is
I
glowing.
was
She looks so pretty.
blessed by the Instagram filter gods. It was just a natural filter. I am, Tyler, you have to know about me is that I wear very, very minimal makeup. At most, I put on some blush so I don't look like I just rose from the dead, and mascara. And that's it. That's it. I don't wear any foundation. I don't wear any concealer. I don't, never, unless I like really want to doll myself up, like really, really.
Mhm.
I'm too lazy. And I'm just like, I don't want to like go to sleep looking like one person and waking up looking like another. My husband should still
I
recognize
can
me.
feel that. I'm the exact same. I don't wear makeup.
No,
Um, I had really bad hormonal acne in my early
me
20s,
too. I still do.
and I wore a lot of makeup. I actually, back then, I had a YouTube channel that was for makeup tutorials
Really?
because she was that girl.
Is that still
Yeah.
available? Nothing dies on the
No,
internet.
it is not.
Oh, I want to
I
salute.
might, you know what? I think
I want to
I
see
have
one.
it privatized. So maybe I'll send you one. But um
Please do.
tiny little Tyler in all of her foundation and eyeshadow and winged eyeliner and stuff like that. And I went on Accutane and I told myself that once I come off Accutane, I felt like makeup for me was a mask. And I
Yeah.
didn't like the way that I looked with makeup.
Yeah.
So long story short, came off Accutane and I was like, I'm never wearing foundation ever again. And I haven't. I'll wear BB cream sometimes or like CC creams, a very and I'll mix that with like sunscreen.
Yeah.
So it's like literally nothing is on my face. I don't even understand why I do it, but
Yeah.
it is. And mascara irritates the crap out of my
Yeah.
eyes 9 times out of 10. And I think it's just maybe I haven't found one that works for me, but I'm the exact same. I don't wear any, like day to day, you will never catch me with a stitch of makeup on.
No,
I will wear sunscreen, hyaluronic acid, and that's it.
that's pretty much me too. I mean, like, I do the facial routine, I do my face wash, and then I have my
Hmm.
hyaluronic, I have some vitamin C, I got a moisturizer, and then of course sunblock. That is what I wear all the time because as we already established, I think before we hit record, I like burn and I live in the desert. So I mean, the sun here is brutal, brutal, brutal.
Yeah.
So sunblock is a must, but I also just don't like the way that makeup feels on my face. It feels, I don't know
Agreed.
what it is. It's like heavy and I feel clogged up and I don't like it. I don't like it. Plus, I'm
I'm
honestly
the
not
exact
good at it and I'm too damn lazy. Like in the mornings, I'm rushing. I have 3 kids. I'm getting ready for school. I'm getting myself ready. I'm packing snacks. I'm packing water bottles. I'm making sure backpacks are like all that. I'm like, I don't have time for any of this. Nor do I want to. For what? Just so I can sit
no.
behind a computer for 10 hours a day and then go back home like nobody even sees me. Like, whatever.
That like brings me back to COVID times where people would do their makeup from like their nose up and then they take off their mask and there'd be no makeup below.
Smart. It's like being in front of a Zoom, right? I mean, we're wearing cute shirts, but I'm in sweatpants.
I'm in shorts, yeah.
I'm
Oh,
just like, whatever.
okay, let's round back because
Yeah.
I didn't want to take away from your graduation. So let's
Graduation.
talk about that.
Yes. Oh, so thank you. I looked the filter was good, I guess. So for those who don't know, in my regular life, non-podcast, non-author life, I am a lawyer. I am in education law specifically, which is very niche. Love what I do. Love, 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 love what I do. But I also, because I don't have enough things to do in life, taught law school for a few years. I think 2020, I started in 2020. Then had to take like a semester off because my mom passed away. And then taught like 2 or 3 more years after that. I taught torts, which is like personal injury litigation, things like that, like civil actions. And yeah, did that in the evenings after, working full time and while writing books and raising children and a husband. I also
Raising a
taught
husband.
law school.
Accurate.
Yeah. Yeah. And so one of the classes that I taught just graduated last weekend. So of course I was at their graduation with them.
That is incredible. Do you think that your career, like, did you start writing books before you were a lawyer or when you were in law school? Or was it something that during law school you were like, I want to be an author?
So first story that I ever published, that actually the MMC Ronan, he came to me when I was like 14. He just popped in my head and then he never left. He's a stubborn little dude. Little, quote unquote, 6'2", 185 pounds of solid muscle.
Yeah.
But I digress.
Yeah.
So he stuck with me and his story kind of developed in my head over time. And then when I was in law school, while I was in law school, as a sort of a creative outlet, because believe it or not, law school is not a very creative place to be. So
Mm.
I started writing for myself, didn't tell anybody about it. And then put all that on hold because I was studying for the bar exam. And then I obviously started my career as a baby lawyer. My husband got really sick, really, really sick. He ended up having double brain surgery. I mean, it was like very tumultuous time of our lives. Right after he came out of that recovery phase, it probably took him about a year and a half. He started getting really sick when I was still in law school. We went through that, and then I want to say about 6 months or so out of law school, he had his double brain surgery and then took about another 7 months or so of recovery. He couldn't work for a long time. But then we started having children. So we got pregnant with our first. That puts life on hold. I didn't start writing again until about 4 years ago when I picked up, what I had started, the first like 60 pages of book one. And then it just
Mhm.
like snowballed. And then my husband,
So,
yeah, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
About almost 2 years ago now, I came clean about my habit to Thanos and told him because he was like, "What are you always doing in the evenings on your laptop?" And then I was like, "Well, I'm writing a story." So he wanted to know about the story. I told him, and he's like, "Shit, that sounds really good. Read me some." So I read him some, and he was like, "You need to publish this." So I never started writing with the intention of ever publishing it. It was only because of him
Mhm.
that I did, and I'm glad I did.
I find it so interesting how I've heard a lot of authors say, I didn't start writing to publish it. So are you just writing to get it out of your brain?
Yeah, yes. At first, it was like to just get it out of my head because the way it works for me with these characters, when I have an idea, Tyler, it is like an obsessive kind of thought. It will nag me until I get it out on paper. It's almost like I can't concentrate on anything else. I need to get it out of my head. And it has to be written. Like I can't
Interesting.
send myself a voice memo or anything like that. It has to be brought to life. It's really weird.
That's so interesting. Excuse me, that is so interesting.
Yeah, it's really weird. And it's annoying because
Weird.
I will be like on a crunch, right? Because now that I've made this a real thing, like I'm publishing, I'm like, I have to focus on getting book three done. But in the meantime,
Uh-huh.
I have these other characters that are like in my ear about their own damn story. And I'm like, you need to shut up for a moment because I got to focus and get this done. I have a deadline to get my manuscript to my editor by a certain date. And here are these two people. It's like, you know what? Actually, I think we're going to be enemies to lovers, but we've kind of had an eye on each other. I'm like, shut up. Don't talk to me right now. I don't have time for your story.
That is actually so cool that like it kind of it's like a psychosis thing, right? Where
Yes.
you actually have these people
Yeah.
that are like talking to you about their
Psychosis.
stories and
Schizo.
no,
Yeah. Feel
not in
like
a
it.
bad way, just in like not in a bad way, but just in like a I would never understand, right? Like I don't have that. And I wonder if like every author has that, or if there's just people who are like, I have an idea for a story, and then I just sit down and then just this whole story just comes out. But you literally have people who are like, I want my time to shine. I want to talk about my stuff. And you're like, listen, Patricia, sit down.
Trisha.
Okay?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
have time for
No,
you.
seriously. And Yeah, it's like that. They're just kind of like there, and they almost materialize them. Like I can like it's not like they're standing in front of me, but they're in my head. I know
Yeah.
what they look like. I know what their mannerisms are. I can hear them talking, and they're not directly talking to me. They're like talking to each other, but it feels like a story that like wants to come to life, and it wants out of my head. And I don't know. It's so hard to explain. It's just it's like an obsessive thing. I need to get them out. If I want to focus on anything else, it needs out somehow.
That's so
Yeah.
cool. It's so cool, but also I could find that being like a semi form of torture
It
when
is
you're like
sometimes.
trying to do
Yeah,
stuff.
it is sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like an urgency to write when I have a really good idea. Like I'm restless. Like I'm at work and I'm like, I need to work. I have actual work to do. I don't have time for this right now. But you feel like this, like almost like bugs under your skin until I get to come home at night and sit down and write it. And then I feel better.
And you can hold on to an idea for that long.
I can. I know that there are some people who are like, okay, I have to send myself an email or do a voice memo or something, or I'll forget. There's no way I'll forget. Sometimes when I'm like, it'll come to me like I have a plot hole, I have an issue that I'm trying to work through, and it's like 3 in the morning and I'm like half awake and I'll have the solution to the plot hole. And then I should write it down then because I will inevitably
Mhm.
forget by morning. But like these big things, like these big story ideas, Sauna's always like, do you need me to send you, or do you need to send me a text with the idea or whatever? And I'm like, no, this isn't going anywhere. It's there.
I wonder if like you in creation, like whoever made you, right? Whatever you believe, was like, she's going to be an author because we're going to give her this, like, it's almost like a superpower or an ability to have these characters just come to
Yeah.
you and be like, you're almost like a necromancer in a sense, where like a necromancer just like can talk to the dead and hear their stories, right? And
Made up
that's like a
people.
very extreme version of
Yeah.
this, but that's kind of what I can relate it
Yeah.
to.
I see dead
Is like they
people.
come to you.
They do come to
No,
me.
I see dead people.
They do come to me,
Yeah.
and which is also a little bit scary because sometimes I'm like, okay, I would love to be a full-time author, but then I'm like, what if what if characters don't come to me anymore? Because right now I have like several other stories that like are already in my head that are materialized in some ways. I have pages on like on paper, I have things written for them already. But then I'm like, what if that well runs dry and then, what do I do then? Because I'm not good at like sitting down and forcing myself to think of a story. Some people
Hmm.
are. They're like, okay, I need to come up with another book. I'm going to create this outline. I can't because it doesn't feel real. I don't know. Yeah.
I wonder, this is like such a Tyler thing to say, but I wonder if these are people reaching out to you to get their stories told. Like, I wonder if it is
That
supernatural
would be
and you
cool.
just have this connection with people that these are actual people from like previous lifetimes that are
That
like,
would be
hey,
cool.
she's gonna tell my story.
It's really interesting. There's this girl on Instagram. I love her stories. She does like spooky, scary story time or something. She goes by Ashley Inc. And she talks about all kinds of fun things. And so one of her posts was like, and I'm not a supernatural. I don't really believe in paranormal, or maybe I just choose not to believe, whatever. But she's like,
Mhm.
everybody has like not a gift necessarily, but has some kind of special, whether it's what are all the things like premonitions and things like that, right? Because we really only use a small percentage of our brain. There's a lot that we
Mhm.
don't know, right? And so that everybody has some kind of superpower. And maybe that's that. I've always found that this is very specific, but when like my dad has applied for a job, or Thanos has applied for a job, or has applied to get into some kind of schooling program or whatever, I always like in my gut always knew this was going to work out or this was not going to work out. Like it's just like a settled kind of content feeling when I know it's going to work out. Like Thanos applied to go back to school, get his bachelor's in dental hygiene. And we haven't heard anything yet because that application deadline was just like yesterday. But I feel so
Mhm.
settled. I'm like, you're going to get into this program. I don't have a question about it at all. And it's the same with jobs that people apply for. It just It's weird. So he and I were talking about that. I'm like, I wonder if
Hmm.
that's my like a precognition type thing.
Yeah.
What do you think would be yours? Have you ever noticed like weird things about yourself like that?
I wouldn't say that specifically. I have had a couple of encounters with divine
Really?
intervention. So like I don't fully believe in ghosts or spirits or like any of that
Yeah.
stuff, but I have had a couple of moments that are just like
Weird.
make it make sense. Like, yeah, there was one experience when I was younger. I was on my phone and I had my headphones on and I went to go cross the street. And as I went to go cross the street, something pulled my hoodie back and pulled me off of the
Yeah.
crosswalk. And I turned around to thank them because a car just like boom, right through a red light. And I turned around to thank them and there was nobody there.
Oh,
And I fit like people seeing it probably were like, is she on drugs? Because I was literally fully walking looking at my phone, and then yanked back onto the crosswalk, like where you cross.
that's crazy.
And I turned around, and then like I took my headphones off, and I turned around like, oh my God, thank you. And there was literally nobody anywhere close to me.
That's insane. I love that.
Yeah, so like
Good things like
I,
that.
I think
I'm
yeah,
done.
make it make sense. Explain it to
Yeah.
me, right? Like, and nobody would know how to feel about that unless you were that person going through it, right? So like when you talk about like paranormal or like stuff like that, they're like, ah, yeah, it wasn't that dramatic. And it's like, actually, I almost died.
Yeah.
So quite dramatic. Um, but I don't know if I have an ability. Like one time I had a dream that my cousin broke her arm on a trampoline. She broke her arm the next day on a trampoline in gymnastics.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I think maybe, right? I mean, again, it's like, do I choose to
Yeah.
believe in this stuff? Do I not? I don't know.
I think if you're neutral about it, it happens more frequently.
Maybe.
Like if you're a strict like I don't believe or I do believe, and then you're searching or you're
Yeah.
neglecting, if you're just passive, things happen, right?
Yeah.
Things that you can't explain.
Yeah. No, I
Like I
agree.
have a whole theory of like how we got here as like the human race and stuff like that. We're not gonna get into that, but like, you know,
What happened to
it's
books?
just if you're passive about it.
They're
Huh?
like, what happened to books? Why are they talking about human
Yeah.
creation?
How did we get here? We told you from the
This is
beginning.
going to be a shit
Wherever
show
this
today.
goes, it
Yeah.
goes.
I had
Yeah.
a,
But it's, I don't know, it's fun to just sit down and just chat.
I agree. Like besties.